Hello everyone. Datron 4910 is a high-performance 10-volt reference standard designed for precision calibration and electrical metrology. In this video, I will disassemble and restore one of these 4910s, explore its internal construction, and take a closer look on issues and faults I've discovered during the disassembly. During inspection of this Datron 4910 standard, several front panel binding posts were found to be mechanically damaged. The cracked insulation bodies and loose terminals made this voltage reference unfit for holding precious ppms. I've cleaned PCB and used special PTFE insulated tellurium copper replacement posts before doing any further troubleshooting in other assemblies in this unit. Replacement was straightforward with only minor metalwork modification to make new posts fit into the old locations. After front panel service, I went ahead to replace all electrolytic capacitors on battery charger and mainboard PCBA. This was a rather simple task thanks to accessible location for all capacitors. Replacing very old tantalum and electrolytic capacitors is a good maintenance measure, since these components are very common to fail in decades-old equipment. This could lead to possible catastrophic failures and hardware damages like the PCB corrosion and blown traces and parts. Installing modern long-term tier brand capacitors help to extend instruments' life and have good confidence that power supply would work reliably. Same goes to carbon composition resistors and REFA high voltage film capacitors that are prone to fail with smells and fireworks, but none of those were present in this DC voltage standard. But we do have to rebuild the battery pack, which contains no less than 15 small valve-regulated lead-acid 6-volt batteries. This standard was received without the batteries, so at least I don't have to worry about disposing old batteries. And now here are the batteries that I've chosen for replacement. They are smaller than original ones, but still can fit into the battery compartment. So now we need to clean the battery compartment, which had a lot of corrosion from the acid leakage and other contaminations. So a lot of metal work need to be cleaned. For this procedure I went with brute force mechanical cleaning with a hard Scotch-Brite brush and some of the isopropyl alcohol, 99%. For this step I've spent a good hour scrubbing the metalwork with hard Scotch-Brite abrasive pad soaked in clean isopropyl alcohol. This was rather messy, so I'd advise to have plastic cover around the area to prevent getting everything around very dirty as well. After wiping cage clean with even more alcohol, I've got all the hardware ready with batteries installed in place. There are a few isolated arrays of batteries, 3 in each, to provide 5 separate 18-volt voltage sources. These sources used to power each of the 10-volt Zener modules in this 4910 and also for overall monitoring and control divider board in the first slot. There are no microcontrollers or firmware chips in this standard. Installing batteries was a bit tedious since one needs to route all the wiring between individual elements and also avoid shorting things together in process. Small PCB with D-sub style connectors host fuses for each cell and some battery cable terminals embedded thermistor for temperature protection. This probably was the most complex battery pack refurbishment among commercial Zener standards. I have also balanced the batteries in each of the array for the capacity and the voltage, so they were at least somewhat similar in charge parameters. Overall, this whole process took me a few hours, and after checking some of the wiring, I actually found that one of the arrays was reversed, so I had to fix that off camera. Happily we have schematics from service manual for this 4910, so we can exactly see how everything's supposed to be connected. Now with battery packed all together and ready to use, we can go ahead and do the first power up and verify that all the voltage regulators on the main board and all the modules work and at least give somewhat reasonable signal. So this is the process that I've shown in here using my trusty Keithley 2002 8.5 digit DMM to verify output on each of the cells. I found that one of the cells had floating output instead of 10 volts. So troubleshooting found that the fuse on the LO terminal of the cell was actually broken. So I had to replace small fuse. Fuse in question was 1 amp F101 connected to mecha ground on the affected module. So I've spent some time to investigate possible reasons for this fault, but couldn't see anything bad. After fuse replacement, the inner module happily generated close to 10 volts output, and I've concluded a repair on this module at this stage. Further investigation also showed damaged JFET on one of the power regulators on main board. Probably that was caused by excessive voltage from the dead batteries or charger. So I had to replace one of those MOSFETs to rectify this issue as well. I didn't have exactly suitable replacement in the same package, so I just jerry-rigged some SMT MOSFET in place for temporary testing and ordered the proper part to repair it later on. Also, because new batteries are quite different to originals, I had to readjust the charging voltages and trickle switching level thresholds to proper values to avoid premature degradation of these newly installed batteries. This was rather simple, following service procedure outlined already in the Datron 4910 service manual. As usual, high-resolution photos and manuals for this standard and project are available on my website via URL xDevs.com/fix/D4910. After finishing with repairs on the main board, I've reassembled the whole thing together and get ready for a more in-depth testing for outputs on 10-volt cells. Reassembly is pretty simple, with the main board mounted on the sides of the frame and with some metal work held together with simple screws. The whole process took about 1 evening of free time. After reassembly, the whole unit was measured for the power consumption, and with the freshly installed batteries, it was taken about 65 to 60 watts of electrical power from 120 volts, which is rather significant for passive DC standard that is generating fixed 10 volt outputs. So as a result, this standard gets rather warm, and you would want to have some separation from other temperature sensitive instruments in your lab. That some of the boards were quite different layout compared to the ones presented in service manual, so this would be something interesting to investigate in future. Here I also show the internal construction of a reference board together with the analog output board. We can see a lot of film capacitors from Vima, those colored red bricks and blocks, together with some other film capacitors and some of the hermetic op-amps and hermetic packages. And finally here 4910 together with other 732As ready to do some measurements. To perform accurate stability evaluation of this high-performance 4910, I've used series opposition method described by NBS Technical Note 430. In a nutshell, this method is based on measuring only small microvolt differences between known 10-volt standard and unknown 10 volts, with a low terminal tied together. To automate this for array of Zener standards, I've used low thermal data-proof 160A scanner and excellently Keithley 2182 nanovolt meter. Everything was automated by Python script running on a Raspberry Pi computer. My friend Igor developed software to perform automatic calculation of thermal EMF for each channel relative to a known good standards in a whole voltage bank. And here is initial dataset for the first day. I left everything running for a couple months, and now we can observe the stability and performance of each cell. Later I purchased a second Wavetek 4910 standard, which you can see was added in the measurement on 13th of May. Overall 10 volt outputs seem to walk around 0.4 ppm relative to 10 volts, which is a bit more than I was hoping for from these standards. Perhaps in part 2 video we can investigate ways to improve this stability and get at least one of these 4910s to a more stable condition. Maybe we can even modify one of them with the new low noise ADR1000 Zener chips. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. Slava Ukraini та смерть оркам!